Alexis Rocha versus Anthony Young, the main event this weekend happening in California. Let's get into it. Let's start with Alexis Rocha. 22 wins, 1 loss, 14 wins by way of knockout. He fought earlier this year where he fought George Ashi, where he pieced him up very nicely in that fight, which we'll get into a little bit shortly here. But Rocha, after his loss to Rashidi Ellis in 2020, has been on a good tear and positive momentum since that fight. He's won his last 6 fights, including a win over Blair Cobb. And honestly, a fight where I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch of those two men in the ring again. But he's got a lot of momentum on his side, as I just said, and he's got upside too. I mean, he's still only, 24, 25 years old. So he's got more in his career, absolutely. He's got the height advantage over Young by an inch in this fight. He's the bigger puncher. He's fought the better opposition, and he's got youth on his side, right? Because Anthony Young, I think he's like 35, 36 years old now. Now, I personally think Rocha has improved since his loss, right? He's strong. He's got good pop in his shot. He's an accurate puncher, throws good body shots, good combination, and likes to start strong. He's a volume puncher, especially as the fight goes on. But I think he's gotten a lot more patient in the recent years and more tactical in his approach. Early on in his career, he was knocking out cats within 3 rounds, right? When he started, a lot of those stoppages came from body shots and just him breaking down his opponent. So I wouldn't say he has that one-shot knockout type of power. Obviously, any shot can turn into that if it connects properly. But to me, man, he's a guy that round to round, he's going to grind you, he's going to work you, he's going to beat you up, and then he's going to land the knockout as the fight goes on and can get the stoppage as the fight goes on. But, when he's got his opponents hurt, he can close out the show. When he fought Rashidi Ellis, the difference there to me was just the speed factor, and also Rashidi Ellis's countering ability because he was that much more faster than Alexis Rocha. Ellis was able to use his speed, let off 2 or 3 shots before Rocha was able to let off 1, or Rocha would come to try to get 1 or 2, and then Rashidi would counter with 3 or 4 shots of his own. He was trying to punish Rashidi Ellis, right, by trying to land and really sit down on his punches. But I don't think that was the best game plan against a quicker, more explosive guy like Rashidi Ellis. He was the aggressor in that fight, but I feel like he needed to be more tactical rather than just coming forward. He needed a little bit more because that night, man, his speed was not on the level of Rashidi Ellis. Ellis boxed beautifully in that fight. But when he fought Blair Cobbs, who is more athletic, more explosive, and just faster movements in general than Rocha, the difference there that I saw and the improvement in Rocha was he did not go into that fight too aggressive. He didn't overcommit in his shots. He patiently came forward and threw combinations when he was in close and was in range and kind of bided his time. Right? He was trying to rough up Cobbs because Blair Cobbs is always constant movement, lateral movement, shuffling. He's always on the go. And I thought Rocha did a good job of staying disciplined and staying patient and not letting his footwork get him in trouble by trying to chase the boxer rather than just anticipating to where the boxer was going to be. So I thought he did a good job of that. Man, Rocha, he may not be the most athletic guy, right? But he's persistent, consistent, and strong-willed mentally. And those are great components that make up of a boxer, right? Rocha doesn't need a whole lot of space either to maneuver as well. Those short, snappy punches he had a lot of success with against Blair Cobbs. He fought a great fight against Blair Cobbs, and there was even talks about him stepping in the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford after that fight, which would have been a great payday for him. However, I think this is a good fight before he tries to fight the type of level of a guy like a Bud Crawford, in my opinion, right? But again, thought he did a great job of staying disciplined and fighting his fight. He's improved and he's learning, and that's what you want to continue to see. Now, in his last fight, he got the stoppage win against George Ashi. But to be honest, man, he didn't really expect Ashi like that, in my opinion, because he just stayed right there in the pocket. If someone is just staying right there in the pocket, either they don't respect your power or maybe that's their type of style, or maybe they just, I'm going to knock you out regardless. And it just, I didn't get the feel that he felt like George Ashi was ever going to beat him, man, because he went in there, no head movement, no ducking. He took shots, landed shots off, and he really believed that he was going to win that fight by way of stoppage. He believed his power was way more than that of George Ashi, and he could kind of tell. And ultimately, he got the stoppage win. I don't expect him to go into this fight as he did in that fight as well, too. Plus, he was just bigger than George Ashi as well, too, by quite a bit, in my opinion, from my eyes. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in this fight, to see what he's improved on, to see what he's coming back with, because every showing now, he has to look impressive if he is going to draw in those tops in the division. But let's talk about his opponent, Anthony Young. 24 wins, 2 losses, 8 wins by way of knockout. This is his first fight this year. He fought 3 times, 2021. He's been active over the years, which is good. He's 35 years old now, so you always have to wonder how, as the time goes on, what will it look like inside the ring? Will the ring rust? Will it take him a couple rounds to get going? All of that stuff you got to take into play. Young, about 2 fights ago, fought at 154. And I think a few fights before that, he fought at 160. So he's probably going to look like the bigger fighter in this one. I think Young is strong. He's patient. He's a good combination puncher when he's in range, but he doesn't throw a whole lot of punches, man. He's trying to find that perfect timing, right? Or he's trying to be accurate and not just use volume, right? Quality over quantity, so to speak. I haven't seen too much of his fights live, but from what I've seen, man, he can box, right? He's not a big puncher, but he's durable and kind of slick in the ring. I think 147 is a better weight for him because he looks a lot more fluid in his movements than he does at 160 and 154. This is also a 12-round fight, right? I think the most he's gone in maybe 10 rounds, right? So we'll see how that goes against a volume puncher in Rocha, who's consistent throughout the fight, and I think gets stronger as the fight goes on. When Anthony Young fought Todd Manuel, he started well, right? Boxing on the inside, but careful about what he was throwing, but he slowed down in the second half of the fight. And that's when things started to turn a little bit interesting, right? Like, people thought that he did lose that fight, but he got the decision win. But I think people thought he lost because that was due to his conditioning and lack of volume punches, something that he cannot do against Rocha, because he's going to have to take the risk to let his hands go, because Rocha will. And if he doesn't get Rocha's respect, I don't think he's going to get it throughout the fight, right? He's going to have to stand there and let it fly at some point throughout this fight, especially with the consistent pressure that Rocha is going to bring forward, right? So it'll be interesting to see how Anthony Young matches up against that. Again, I haven't seen tape of his last fight either. I couldn't find it, but that was an 8-round fight where he won unanimously against Jose Zaragoza, I believe it was, who isn't the sharpest fighter. I mean, he has a 9-8 record, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles a guy like Alexis Rocha. So who wins? Man, I'm taking the favorite, Alexis Rocha, to win this one by KO, TKO, some type of stoppage. I just think the volume is going to be a problem for Young, and the 12 rounds is going to be a lot as well, too, with the amount of pressure that is going to come his way and how much Rocha puts on him with the mixes of attacks from headshots to body shots, right? You can't avoid someone for 12 rounds, man. At some point, you're going to meet up along the ropes in the middle of the ring, and you're going to have to gain that respect. And I don't know if Anthony Young is enough of a big puncher to be able to keep Rocha off of him for 12 rounds. I think at some point he'll get caught with a body shot that will slow him down and then start to weaken him as the fight goes on. I have Alexis Rocha winning this one by a late stoppage. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comments section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly appreciate it. Recently just started a membership section on the channel. I don't always get to do all of the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section, but if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top and become a priority, and I will do my best to get those done for you. Or if you would like to become a member just to support the channel, man, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Also, you guys let me know in the comment section. I'm thinking of creating something maybe on Slack or maybe on Telegram where we can talk about the fight in real time, right? Where we can just be texting back and forth and we can have a conversation as the fight goes on to see how we see it and continue to build this community together. So if that's something you would be interested in, let me know in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.